Give you more room.
Yep, okay. The first time I had heard the Trumpeter's Lullaby was 1951. Gordon's bought the property above our place, and Dr. Saul Gordon in Maryland, and they had a son, Michael, and a daughter, Gloria, and Mike and I got to be good friends. He invited me up to swim in a pool. We'd always swam in a brook or in a pond. I thought that was something. We swam that pool. It's a beautiful, beautiful home, and he invited me in, and I think we was having ice cream. We went in the room. They had a hi-fi in there, and I think we had an old Crank Up 78, and he put on a record. It was by Leroy Anderson, and two of the songs that I never forgot was The Trumpeter's Lullaby and A Bugler's Holiday. And I thought, well, someday maybe I'll get to play. And my brother had started taking lessons with an old trumpet and gave it up. So I ended up taking lessons in 1955. I started high school. I started taking lessons, and I had a great music teacher, Burton Martin. He'd studied music at the Boston Conservatory of Music. I started taking lessons and was doing fairly good. He said, you know, if you had a better trumpet, he said, I think you could do better. And I told my folks, and they took me to Greenfield to Gribben's Music. And Mr. Gribben let me try different trumpets, and any of them would have been all right. And I ended up with an Olds Ambassador. It was the cheapest one that Olds made. It was made in California. When I went back to the next lesson, he said, you're playing a note higher. The thing played so easy. And so I was doing pretty good. And one day there, I had to take a paper in Arlen Monroe as a headmaster, and I had to take a paper into him. And the class advisor was kind of standing with his back to me, and he was talking to Coach Johnson, and he said, you know that Alan Bills, he'll never make a musician. And he was our band director besides, but I thought, well, you might be surprised. So I started taking lessons, and luckily Bev and Francis, I had to stay after school. They'd come down and get me after a lesson. I'd hang around outside, and if somebody didn't show up, I could get another one. So I hadn't taken, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months or so later, the music teacher told that guy didn't think I could play. He said, you better be getting Alan a uniform, because he'd be playing in the band. I played third trumpet, which wasn't a lot. Then Dick Perry took over, getting ahead of myself. Bert Martin left a year and a half there. He went to Bellas Falls. He had a full-time job, and I really missed him because he was real strict, and I learned a lot. But Dick Perry came up and taught music, and he played for a lot of dances, had a band with little kids, and he went around to grade school. He was a great thing, and that was real good. And so I played all 4 years in the school band, and I ended up getting the music award. And I also played in the Grafton band. We used to march through the parade here on the 4th of July, and they'd do concerts over there. I played for them for quite a few years. And then the first square dance I ever played for was on this stage. I played for Doug Roberts around 1960. And the first year I said to the violin player, I said, what do you use for music? He said, I can't read music, I just play by ear. And the first night was took me a little while to get the hang of it, but they said, make sure you come back next week, so I did. And I got so I could play the squares. Then I played up in Landgrove on Friday nights from 9 to 1 for Doug Roberts. That was great because Doug Roberts played the saxophone, Jim Day played the clarinet. I played trumpet, Dave Brooks played guitar, his son played drums, and Roland Williams played the piano. He was a great piano player, and that was some really great times we had playing up there. And then I also played for Charlie Parrington. He ran Maple Valley. We had a lot of fun down there, and I joined the Guards in 1963, and I used to take I'd have to go out to Camp Drum for 2 weeks in the summer. I'd take my trumpet out, and I got a chance to the last year I was out there in 1969. I played my trumpet, and the Army band needed a trumpet, and I asked the company commander if I could play, and he said sure. So I played with them for the 2 weeks. Well, we marched every day in practice, and they said tomorrow we're going to fly out to Rome, New York. I'd never been on a plane, and I wasn't sure I wanted to do that, but I didn't want to miss out. So we flew out to Rome, New York, played for the general and back, and when I got home I played at the parade in Bennington for the Battle of Bennington. I played with the Andover boys, and they were a nice bunch of guys, and there was a banjo player. I won't go through all the names, but the banjo player I met was from down on old Route 8, Bob Brown. He was a great banjo player. We were up playing in one of the guys' houses up in Andover, and we ripped the song right off, and when it got through, Bob turned to me and said, you know, you're the cleanest shaved guy I've ever seen. I don't know what that had to do with the song, but I thought I might put milk on it and let the cat lick it off. Then one time one of the floats, we used to play through the parade. It looked like a ship kind of, but I'd have to take the sheetrock screws out so my brother could get out of the truck. We played through Wardsboro Parade, then we went down to Newfane and played through that one. And I got out and took the screws out and put them in my pocket, not thinking, and my brother got out. I ended up driving that home. That afternoon we had to go to Marlboro College to play for a square dance for the kids that studied music. We got over there, and I took my valves out and put some oil on it, put it back in, blew, not a thing. And I was checking it over, couldn't figure out what was wrong, and finally Judy Serkin came over. She said, my husband's a professional trumpet player, you think he could help you? I said, no, I just found out what it was. She said, what was it? I said, it was a sheetrock screw in the mouthpiece. She shook her head and left. And, I played for a funeral service over in Dummerston Center. It was for a gal. Her sister worked with my wife at the bank, and I went in there, and she came, and her husband was a miller and run the orchard, and she went over and started playing, and I was setting up my music. I was supposed to play 2 special songs, and all of a sudden she was holding a note, and I thought, gee, that seems like quite a while. Pretty soon people were running up. Well, I looked over there, and she passed out, was laying right on the organ. She had a bad cold or something. I forget what, bronchitis. The minister came over, wringing her hand, said, I wondered if you could you play them hymns? I said, yeah, I play in church about every Sunday. I could play them, so I played the 4 of them, and I played the 2 that I had there. And then Mark Green came to the mill, and he interviewed my dad about running the mill and doing business, and he found out we played for dances. And he came up to the house, and Kathy, me and Dad, we played a song that we'd done for square dances called Wearing of the Green. Well, he invited us up, and I was talking with Jim just the other day. We went to Montpelier to the Onion River Music Festival, and we ended up, there's a CD out, it's called Kitchen Tonks and Parlor Songs, and we was on that. Well, we played up there, and I got up to play, and I was the only brass instrument up there. They were all guitars, banjos, basses, and whatever. I got up there to play Red River Valley. We always played it in the key of F, and I started playing. The violin player said, I'm not playing it in that key. So he quit, and there's a beautiful French-Canadian gal there with a concertina. She came right over and said I could play that, so she played that, and we got through it, and we had a wonderful time. The guy came down, he was a French-Canadian, and he stayed at my house. We had a dance at the barn, and that was a fun time. And we had quite a few dances out at my dad's barn. And one night we were out there playing. I think it was on the 4th, and a bunch of kids were staying up at the Green Mountain House. And I was going to ask Danny, I couldn't remember when that burned, but there was quite a few kids, and they come up to us. They said, "Could you play Having the Gala?" I said, "Sure, we could play it." So God they all got in there was 12 of them down there on the floor, and they did their dance, and we played it. I said, where else up in the old barn would they be doing something like that? And that was something we had never done before. But I played for my cousin's wedding reception over in Newport, New Hampshire. And me and Kathy, we were playing, and pretty soon this old guy, he came up to me and he said, hey, mister, he said, he was probably had all he needed. He said, you don't play much like Harry James. I said, you don't exactly dance like Arthur Mary. But anyway, it's been fun, and I probably had a little. I think I got everything. But it's been great playing music, playing church, and our pastor there has never taken a lesson, but he plays that piano, and we played at nursing home. Jim and me played at quite a few. We played a lot of dances together, and I was talking with Sonny there at Intermission about the fun times we had over there at Dover Common. That was a great place to dance. I have a video out to burn of a lot of the people from Dover and all around. We had a dance out there. I watched that, and it's just been great. And it was great. I got one song I wanted to play on the trumpet my folks give me. We were playing one night over there, and the guy that was calling, we met him. He came to the dance, and he said to me, he said, could you play Down in the Caribbean? I said, yeah, we've never done that for a square dance. But I said, we'll try it. So we started playing, and we were really ripping it. Pretty soon he said, hey, stop, stop, stop. So I said, what's the matter? He said, you're getting pretty loud, Alan. He said, I have to tone it down a little. I said, well, I got to thinking about looking out at that beautiful water in the ocean, that white sand, and the smell of suntan lotion, and all them bikinis. I guess I got a little carried away. But before I quit, I just want to say how proud I am to live in Wardsboro, and all the people I've met, and all the over the years, playing in church, and still living on the same hill I was born next to the house. I live in the house next to the house I was born in, and I enjoyed being at the mill. And Teresa's here that did the video of the mill, and I really appreciated that. And so I'm want to play that song, Down in the Caribbean, for you.